Okay, guys, so we are on a 10-second delay from what I can see. Okay, we got a third viewer, so welcome, Claudio. I'm guessing that's him. Um, okay, so today, till we get a call, I'm gonna be talking a little bit about menu maintenance and arrangement and stuff like that. We like to we like to get our menus looking nice and neat for the customers. So I'll talk. Um, Angela, can you hear me? Roy is saying that he cannot hear me. Okay, Roy, you're gonna have to check out your audio settings on Windows or whatever. Since Angela can't hear me, it's gotta be something on your end. Roy, um, okay, perfect. You can hear me now. All right, I'm just checking with Matthias to see if he's at the office and see if he can join us as well. I'm going to be showing something about printers afterwards, so I want him to watch as well. Um, I'm pretty much going to be showing you how to. So sometimes you're going to get into situations where you, for whatever reason, need to uninstall and reinstall printer drivers, and I'll show you how that is done. It's a simple process, but I know that he's often replacing printers at restaurants, and they are uh, they are different kinds of models, so it requires a different printer driver, and he always has to hit me up to help him out with that. So, but okay, he's not at the office just yet. So uh, let me just write this down for him. I can see a small window inside your window of the live stream. Yeah, it's this up here. Um, if I move away, that should be gone now. But okay, I wanted to say we're gonna be talking about menus a little bit now because I'm working on this menu for a new client, and it's a pretty complicated one, to be honest with you. This is a like a coffee shop, and they are, I mean, it's not too complicated, not the most complicated one I've done. It's a small menu, but there's a lot of stuff going on, and yeah, one thing that I need to finish up on is tidying up the menu, like arranging the buttons and adding colors to everything and stuff like that. So as you can see, if you look at these menu groups, so you can ignore these Z mods. These are modifier groups. So Roy, you've probably come across this before, but Angela, you're not aware. You don't know what this is. So we can, instead of using modifier groups, we have a couple here, but instead of using modifier groups, we can use menu item groups and then assign them to. So these are called subgroups and sub items. These items are sub items, and we can assign them to menu items, as you can see here. If I pick any of these items, you'll see here. So this is the modifier linkage. So that's when you're working with modifier groups. But we also have sub items or subgroups that we can link to normal menu items. So the difference between the two, like the main difference is that on these sub items, if I'm going to, so we can put modifiers. So these are, let's say these are modifiers. We can attach other modifiers to these modifiers. And with modifier groups, if I assign a modifier group here, I cannot assign any more modifier groups on top of this bagel add. I can add another group here, but if I wanted these dressings, so to be on top of these, so when they select any of these bagel add-ons, it should ask for a dressing. Um, that's called nested modifiers or stacked modifiers, and we cannot do that with modifier groups. So that's why we use sub items and subgroups. So one example I'm going to show you. So this Zmods add extra shot. If I find it up here, Zmods add extra shot. So I'm going to edit menu items, and you can see I this is a modifier, and then I have a modifier group attached to it. So that's the main difference between using subgroups and sub items and modifier groups. When menus are simple, we do tend to mostly go for modifier groups, but some merchants are different and they require different things for their menu. So we have to go with these subgroups, which are a little bit more difficult to set up. It takes a bit more time because you're constantly going from group to group and editing menu items instead of just being on this one screen, and then you can stack up as many, I mean, go one by one. So um, what I wanted to show is like menu maintenance and arrangement and of buttons and stuff like that. So for example, let's take this subgroup. When you're creating these items, so let's say, for example, they request to add a new button in here that says add 4 shots. So someone would come in here and just take one of these and then duplicate, and I'll say add 4 shots. Okay, so you did do the work, and let's say it's going to be $2. You did do what they requested, but if I go back here, you can see how it's not really aligned. It's not arranged properly. So I would need to move this because it should go 1, 2, 3, 4 and not 1, 4, 2, 3. So I should move this button. So when I click on it, we have this sort/move, and I'm going to move it in front of the subtract button. So okay, so this science here when moving your items is not exact. So sometimes it takes a couple of tries. So I'm gonna do this again, and now 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one thing I want you guys to keep in mind when you're adding new menu items. Is so there are many merchants who don't really have stuff aligned all the way, but there are some who have stuff sorted alphabetically as well. So when you're duplicating items, just take a look first. Like when you see the menu group, you can see this one is sorted alphabetically. So A, B, 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 and then K, S, V. So it's sorted alphabetically. Okay, so when you add your new item, if you need to add something here, I don't know, maybe an enchilada. If I duplicate and go back here, again, we have to sort this. So you can use this button here, or you can just move it yourself using this. So it needs to be behind. And like I said, it's not really a perfect science here, so it takes a couple of tries. But yeah, I hope you get the point. because you are already adding new items into people's systems and stuff like that. Even you, Angela, you've been duplicating stuff with the simple texts. Just keep that in mind. And let me delete the enchilada. And did I delete the fourth shot? I did not. Okay. Okay. So another thing that we've started doing, and you'll see we have a lot of restaurants that do not have this, is colors on menu groups. So we added just to, because Spot On in itself is the system is, when you look at the screen, it's quite dull. It's just like everything. If it's in dark mode, everything's black. If it's in light mode, everything's white. So we've started doing this thing, adding colors to menu groups and menu items as well, just to make it a little bit more, how should I say, easier to look at, or make, because your brain looks at colors and it connects things when it sees. So as they're using the system constantly, maybe they're not even looking at the text of the button on the menu, but they see the color and they know that that's where they need to go. So that's again one thing that could be useful for speed of service in the long run. And speed of service is, like I said yesterday, the most important thing for everyone, because no customer wants to wait any longer than they should be for something to be done. So I'm going to pull up the connection here just so I can show you the colors and the different things that we can do with colors. We can also put colors on those subgroups and sub items, but we're not going to be putting them on the groups themselves, but we are going to have some menu items where, so you can see right here, purple, green, pink. So it looks nicer. And if I go to the drink screen, so the buttons don't have, these are all menu group buttons. They don't have any colors on them. That was a thing before, but they, about like maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago, they made some update which, so to say, canceled the colors. It was up here in the top right corner. But if I go into the group, you can see the buttons are colored. So if I go into this one, it's light blue, hot non-coffee, some sort of a light red or something. Let me just log back in here. So that's when you're adding colors onto menu groups. Now I'm going to be showing you how to add colors onto menu items as well. So let's say the breakfast menu, I want to change. So the group has a purple color assigned to it, as you can see up here. But if I want to change the avocado toast to be green, let's say, because avocado is green, I can go down here into advanced settings and set a color just for this one item. So let's use this sort of green, and go back to the POS and then food. And you can see avocado toast has changed its color to green. So the reason I'm showing you this is because I have to get this done for this merchant. So while I'm on the topic of getting it done for them, I was like, okay, I can maybe show you guys as well on how we want stuff handled. So one thing, for example, here, I did put colors on, let me change this. I did put colors on the menu groups, but some of these menu groups have a lot of items within them, like iced and frozen specials. Like there's a lot of them. And if they're all the same color, they're all just going to blend in. So what I'm going to do is I'll leave this main color, but I'm going to jump in and, for example, these frappes, if hopefully that's how you pronounce it. I'm going to change the colors on them and maybe these refreshers as well. And I can leave the green color for the rest of these, just so they can differentiate. So I can show you actually. So frappe, this one, two, three, and four. There's not a fifth one. And I can select multiple items and then go down and say, okay, so the default color is green, right? So let's say I'm going to put this bluish on them, and then on the refreshers, I'll say, let's make them like this, pinkish. So if I go back to the POS This was iced and frozen specials. Okay, iced and frozen specials. So now, okay, so so maybe I'll make this a different color so they stand out a little bit. But these things are green, that's okay. And let me just make that change. So instead of it being that blue, I'll make it like a red color, a hard red, so they know that those are frappes. Yeah, something like this should work. So yeah, that's when it comes to the menu arrangement and menu. So I will sometimes ask you guys to come in and put some colors onto items. So you can put colors randomly. What I tend to do is I put a color. So example, this menu group says hot coffee. So I used this. This should be maybe even this color because the color brown reminds me of coffee. So I put that color. I don't know, bowls and salads. I put green on it because there are salads in here, and these bowls as well, they are also sort of salads. So a salad reminds me of the color green because of lettuce. It's present in most of salads, so I put that color and so on. Um, okay, so let me just see if Matthias is at the office. Let me know when you're there. Uh, 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 um. So the stuff that I showed you guys yesterday, do you have any questions, anything that remains? Okay, I think the live stream just went down for a moment, but it should be back now. Um, got Angela. Okay, perfect. All right, so you don't have any questions. Okay. Yeah, so yesterday I showed you that extremely rare case where that printer in El Rinconcito, it would not print and the station would not send stuff through to the kitchen. And you saw the amount of troubleshooting that I did. And in the end, what I had to do is just recreate the Windows user, and that fixed the problem. So that's a very weird case, and I told you guys yesterday, that it's something that you're not gonna have often, and but it's a thing that happens with Windows specifically. Um, yeah, so it worked. It was my last resort. If that didn't work, I would probably resort to maybe, yeah, well, one last thing that was left for me was to recreate the station. So I can recreate the station here in back office and the printer as well. So that was the last straw, so to say. If the if recreating the Windows user didn't fix it, I would resort to recreating the printer and the station. And if that didn't fix it, I would then probably have to send Matthias out there with a new station, because it wasn't just the receipt printer. The station wasn't sending stuff through to the kitchen either. So I would probably resort to something like that. And I do tend to do everything before sending someone out, because sometimes these places are like 2 3 hours away from our office, and it ends up taking the whole day for Matthias to go out there, fix it, replace the whatever needs to be done, and come back to the office. So uh, that's why when it comes to that stuff, we always want to do as much troubleshooting as possible, everything that we can over the phone before resorting to sending someone out there. For example, if I pull up Google Maps at google.com, and so our office is in GA, Pooler, Georgia. And if I go directions, and for example, Leesburg is like 3 4 hours away. Um, Yeah, so you can see 3.5 hour drive over to this restaurant. So when you get a call and something's not working, you are going to try to do everything you can before sending sending a request in to get someone out there to fix the problem, because this is a very long drive, and just to go there and get back, it takes him 7 hours, and then maybe an hour or two on site to fix the problem. Yeah, so that's why we're having these trainings so we don't get into situations like this. But again, as you get these calls, as you're not able to fix something, you will advise with me and Claudio, and we'll tell you if we have any ideas, that stuff that you can try. And if that doesn't work, of course, we'll send Matthias out there to get it fixed. So let me see if he is at the office yet, so I can talk about. Not there yet. So these emails from Cisco Meraki telling us that, so pretty much it's telling us that the internet connection has went down. So this Meraki is now running on cellular. We don't need to do anything with these. We can trash them, delete them. Um, so, but it's good to be aware that we know that they are running on cellular. Um, so let me see where we could do this stuff. So it's 10:43 right now. The site's open at 11. We'll probably take Cedar Lane, Supper Club. Um, yeah, so Cedar Lane opens at 5, so we can use their system um, to to do these printer drivers. Or actually, maybe I'll get Matthias to hook up a Windows station in the office, so and a printer as well, so we can make it work. But we'll see. Okay, I just had an idea and it went away. What did I want to show you? Yeah, so I wanted to talk about reports as well. This is a subject that we haven't talked about at all. Angela, I know for sure that I didn't show you anything when it comes to reports. And then Roy, you're familiar with them, but I don't know what your level with report knowledge is. So I'll show you the main few things. Okay, let me see. Matthias is replying. Do you maybe have a Windows station? All right, and what I showed you guys yesterday, um, the reminders on Slack. So I just got a reminder at 10:45 to call Catherine or Viri at El Rinconcito to plug the ISP cable back. So first off, I am going to open up the Meraki dashboard and just check if maybe they had done it themselves. So we can see, okay, SMS authentication. Please open the Authenticator app. Oh, okay. Send to your primary number. Okay. Submit. Yeah, so Cisco is not making it easy for us to get into the dashboard anymore, but we have to find our ways. Okay, so that's the code. Remember me, please. And we can see cellular failover is active, so the ISP cable is still unplugged. So since we're on a live stream, I'll just send a text over to Catherine, support text. Catherine Hall. Why do we have two of them? Okay, that's the one. Discard, delete. Okay. So I'll use the one that says the phone number says +1. I'm not sure if this one would get the message. So, good morning. To plug that into the silver POS folder box. It should go into port number 1, internet. Let me know if you have any questions. And I'll send it as resolved. Okay. So, reports. Matthias is going to set up a station and a printer for us at the office. So while he gets that done, I'll show you guys around reporting a little bit. Roy, can you type in chat? Let me know what's your like level of knowledge when it comes to reports. How often did you use this at Spot On and stuff like that? Just let me know so I can. I mean, I'm gonna go slow because of Angela, anyways, but I want to know what your level is. Yeah. Okay. Um, Let me send the link over to Matthias. Copy. Okay, Roy, that's good. Yeah, so in case I'm not here and maybe sometimes Claudio will not be responding next week when Angela starts, if she gets a call about reports, she can reach out to you as well to ask for help. Uh, I mean, we're all here to help each other. And like I said, you guys, when you have, do we have a call coming in? Abandoned. Okay, Catherine says she's doing it. Matthias is with us. Welcome. Resolve this. And I guess I'll trash this. So we'll talk about reports later. Let's take care of the printer driver stuff that I want to show you guys. So let me see the station. Station is El Sombrero number 4. Matthias, what's the printer model that you have hooked up to the station? Let me know in Slack. Okay, so it's a TM-M30 Mark III. All right. So it's about time you learn how to do this. It's a pretty simple thing. So the main part is you need to know where to go to first, where to download the drivers from. So I'll go over the whole process now. On this POS station, this station was used at El Sombrero number 4 before. So it probably already has a printer driver installed. So in case you do need to, when Matthias is replacing a printer, he may reach out to you guys to help him out if he doesn't have, I don't know, tools with him, if he doesn't have time to do it himself. But you're going to run into cases where maybe we are going to send a printer out to the restaurant and then they can call us when they get it. They hook it up by themselves and they give us a call so we can set it up. Those are rare cases, but it does happen if a site is like very far away. Claudio may sometimes decide to just ship them the printer, and then they can call us when it arrives. We help them hook it up, set it up, and so I'm going to go through that process right now. So the first thing is, if it's a printer replacement, you're probably already going to have a printer driver on that station. So the first thing we need to do is uninstall the old printer driver if the new printer is a different model. If it's the same model, you can use the same printer driver. But let's say for this case, most of the time it's going to be a different model that gets sent to them, so you need to reinstall the drivers. So first off, you're going to check for old printer drivers. So I'm just going to go into this station has this thing called Classic Shell. So the start menu looks like it did on like Windows 7. But on other stations that use Windows 10, the start menu looks something like this. On mine is Windows 11, but it looks something like that. But in any case, you need to get into a thing called Programs and Features, or when it's not this classic shell, it's called Apps and Features. So yeah, I think it's Apps and Features. So I'm just here inside Control Panel, Programs and Features, and then you can see right here. So we actually have two different printer drivers. So this is not good in any case. So I'm just going to uninstall both of them. And after I uninstall these drivers, I'm going to reboot the POS station. Okay, and we have our first issue. Uninstallation failed. Close all applications. All right, so let me see what could be using. Nothing probably. Matthias, it is being recorded. Uh, I'll send you the VOD later on once I end the stream. But everything you can find the recording of the entire live stream on the I think on this YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel. Angela, you were you go ahead, you go in and rewatch the VODs, right? You told me that you do that. How do you do it? Do you go into the channel and you see my video, or I'm not really familiar with YouTube live streaming, so okay. So I removed those two printers that we have here. Let's see if we can uninstall this thing now. Okay, Matthias. So yeah, you can just later on go into the channel and you'll see it has videos, or you can go to the same link, Angela says, and you can rewatch the last live stream. So printer driver 6 doesn't want to uninstall itself, so let's do this one. Hopefully this one will be more cooperative. Okay, there we go. So Matthias, this is the reason you're waiting for me when you hook up a new printer and you tell me to help you set it up. This is the process that takes the most time, just uninstalling old drivers and rebooting. So that's why you always have to wait for me for like 5-10 minutes to finish up this part. Okay, so there's just the printer driver itself. It has this, and then it has this, and this, and this, and this, and this. So now it's uninstalling all of these things, and that's what takes the most time. I'm gonna get a sip of water real quick while this is doing its thing. Okay, so we uninstalled that one, and let's see if this one is going to work with us now. Okay, okay, okay. That worked as well. So if I go back into programs and features, we can see all of them. I can leave the net config. So this tool is used to change, you can use it to change printer IP addresses and stuff like that. So it doesn't affect printer drivers at all. And you can see this tool is going to give you any Epson network printers are going to show up in the list here. So this station is at the office, but you can see actually this is their office printer. So um, I actually one time I joked and I printed something on this printer for Claudio. Um, okay, so now I got the printer drivers, the old ones uninstalled, and I'm going to reboot the computer. So you have to do this every time because we had two drivers installed on this station, and honestly, I don't know how. Oh my God, let's not go into Windows updates. Um, I don't know how the old printers worked because they are going to conflict and cause issues. Um, so we need to make sure all drivers are uninstalled. And let me take care of this text while this is rebooting. Tammy, Sabrina Tyson. Okay. Crazy Ricks. Oh, please don't go into Windows updates. Oh my God. Okay. Hopefully it's going to be fast. All right. So Crazy Ricks, new. Okay. And then do this. And we put Sabrina's first name into the nickname field because she's a server and we don't want her full name to be displayed on receipts. So here, what's the code? 0312. 0312 and server and roamer as well. Don't jinx the speed of Windows updates. Oh yeah. I had cases. For example, Hog and Bones in Jessup. Hog and Bones in Jessup. These guys, I even had to because we don't get we cannot remotely access these stations because of their internet provider. They're blocking our Splashtop connection. So they would randomly, for months, they would randomly get stations in the middle of the day, reboot themselves doing a Windows update, and especially it hit hard on the drive-through cashier station, which is like the most important station inside this restaurant. And so the GM would call me, and he's like, Marco, this is the fourth time this is happening in the past few months, and I'm like, oh my, I cannot do anything about it. So I think in the end, we ended up, Matthias, you went out to the restaurant, right, and disabled Windows updates yourself, or was it Claudio that went out there? Maybe he went with you. I'm not sure, but that's what we had to do, unfortunately. So let me just. All right, the tag is going to be employee add. Employee add, okay, and resolve. Seems like front is a little bit slow. Okay. Matthias, can you let me know when the station boots back up into Windows? I mean, when it's going to load up spot on. It's up. Okay, that's good. It didn't take too long. Okay, so here comes the fun part. When it comes to printers and printer drivers, we're going to be installing the new driver. So Over here, I'm going to open up Google Chrome. And so I have this web page. This is Epson's official web page that I'm going to copy. I gave this to you yesterday, Matt, and I'm going to copy it to you guys again as well so you can bookmark it. But I'm going to go to the web page and I'm going to search for my product for my printers. So it's going to be TM M30, M30, and Matthias said it's a M30 Mark III, right? Yes. Okay. So M30 Mark III is down here. So I'm going to select that one and hit the search icon. Okay. And on this screen, I'm looking for software. In here, it asks me to select the operating system. It didn't do this before, but now I guess you have to select it manually. So this one is going to be Windows 10, and it's going to be the x64 architecture for sure. I'm pretty positive about that. We can actually check. Yeah, 64-bit operating system, 64-bit base processor. Okay, and region is United States, which is good. Now, we're looking for, you're going to have multiple advanced printer drivers, but this is what we're looking for. Just watch out for the region here. This one says Europe, Middle East, Africa. This one doesn't say anything, so that's going to be the one that we need. So I'm going to proceed to download, and I'm going to agree to the terms and then download the driver. Okay, so for just for a second, I'm going to go back on this page. So sometimes you're going to have, like here it says Europe, you're going to have another one that says like Chinese version and stuff like that. So just make sure you select the US or English version or anything that doesn't say what version it is. That's going to be the one you're selecting. You're not going for one of these. Okay, so it already downloaded the driver. Now I'm going to open up the downloads folder. So now I need to extract the files. So right click on this, extract all. And I don't want you to show me the files. I'll see them myself. And then go in here, and this is the driver you're looking for. Sometimes you might see another software application installation in here, but APD stands for Advanced Printer Driver, so that's the one that you need to install. So double click on it, and the installation should be fairly quick, maybe like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And agree to the terms, install, and in the meantime, let me be Halloween to you as well. Matthias, is Halloween today? Oh yeah, yeah. It's not a thing over here in my country, so um, I don't know. Halloween 2025. Oh yeah, it is 31st October. Okay, interesting. So we'll get to this thing from Celia once I finish up the printer driver. Okay, so the driver automatically installs and it pulls up this window where we can add the printer to the system pretty much. So I'm going to rename it. We are always naming our printers default printer, so with capital D and a capital P. So rename it to default printer. Port type is always going to be USB. So if it's not selected as USB, you're going to change that to USB. Port, you can leave it on auto setup and then check mark this thing to make it a default printer for Windows. And I'm just going to hit save settings. So now you get the printer up here. Okay, so we can even send a test print. And Matthias can let me know on Slack if it printed or not, but I'm pretty sure it did because I didn't get any error message, anything telling me that the printer didn't print, that there's an error with the printer or something. So I'm just going to close this off. And now I'm going to go back into the control panel just so I can show you guys. So devices and printers. And in here, we can see this default printer. And this little green check mark, it means that it's the default printer for Windows, for this computer. So you need to make sure to always get that done. You can do it by right-clicking and pushing this thing here. So one way you can also see if the printer is printing is you can right-click on it here and then open this up, see what's printing. This is the so-called printer queue. So in this queue, any documents that are sent to the printer are going to show up. And if there's a error, it's gonna in the status field here. I'm just gonna go into printer properties and I'm gonna send a test page to it so you guys can see what it looks like. And it was pretty fast, but this is the printer queue. And if me or Claudio tell you to clear out the printer queue, Matthias, can you go ahead and disconnect the printer from the station just so I can show you what it looks like when the printer queue is full? Or you can just turn it off. You don't have to disconnect it completely. My brain doesn't brain sometimes. Okay, so I'm gonna send a test page, and now I even get a Windows notification that it couldn't print, but up here in the printer queue, you can see error printing. It's not going through, so it gets stuck. And sometimes you're gonna have cases where there's like 60 documents in the queue. So I'm just gonna stack it up now. And so what's going to happen sometimes is these printers, they're going to, I don't know, somebody is going to put the paper in the wrong way or something and cause the printer to mess up. And in the meantime, they're going to be sending receipts from Spot On, sending stuff that needs to be printed. Uh, and it fills up the printer queue because there's an error with the printer. The paper is not in correctly, so it doesn't want to print. So the printer queue gets stacked, and like there's going to be 50 documents in the queue. Even 11 is a big number, but 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, you're going to see a lot of documents in the queue. So then by the time they give us a call, a manager is going to come and they're going to turn the printer off, take the paper out, put it in the right way, and turn the printer back on, but it still will not print. And that's when you come in here and you check the printer queue. It's one of the first things that you need to do when it comes to Windows stations and you get a call about a printer not working. Always check the printer queue. Sometimes it's going to be as simple as just coming in here and you can click on any of these and then Control A to select all of them, or there must be, you can, yeah, cancel all documents up here. So printer, cancel all documents, and hit yes, and it clears out the queue completely. And now when you send another test page, the printer is powered off now, so it's not going to work. But when you send your new test page, it goes through and you test it through Spot On, it works, and everything's fine. So that's some cases that you're going to have with receipt printers. But okay, we've covered the installation of the printer driver. Now there's one last bit to connect the dots that you need to do on in back office, for example. And that is you need to make sure that you have the printer name matching. So I'll just take one of the crazy Rix printers. Oh, okay, they're on new hardware on Android. I'll take Boomies. They're on Windows. So sometimes, even though you've done everything, you've installed the driver and it prints the Windows test pages, but you open up Spot On and it doesn't print, that likely means there's an issue in back office in the configuration. So you just need to come in here to printers and kitchen displays and find whatever printer you're working with and just make sure that the printer name, as you can see, I picked I picked a good one here. The printer name is default printer 2, and if I go into Boomies, and this was receipt 2, station 2, okay. You need to make sure the printer name here matches what you have in Windows. So you don't have to name it default printer, you can rename it to something else, but default printer is the default name for Spot On, so that's why we continued using it. But if I come in here and if I go into devices and printers, you'll see this one is called default printer 2, and that's why we have to check. So that's one thing, and then of course underneath stations, you need to make sure that the receipt printer that is assigned is receipt 2. And if everything's done correctly, all this stuff should be working fine. Okay, so that's pretty much it when it comes to that part. Matthias, do you have any questions? Did you catch on to everything? Or Angela, Roy, you guys as well, if you have anything, type in chat. Okay, so I wanted to talk about reports. Matthias, I don't know, you can stick around if you don't have anything else to do. Um, so, Roy, you said you know reports, and I believe you do, actually. Uh, dun-dun-dun. Yeah, so I wanted to touch on reports. I know, Matt, that you don't really mess with reports in any way, and I don't know if you wanna, you can stick around. If you have somewhere to be, you can go. You don't have to stay here. But I'm gonna be going through the reporting website a little bit for Angela. Roy, I guess if you want to, you can stay. If not, you can go do your own thing. Just let me know. If you wanna, I don't know, for example, let me resolve this. Okay. So before going on to reports, I'm just gonna do this thing for Celia. Um, all right. So today our food truck will stop operation. Okay, man. Yeah, you're welcome, man. I'll see if I can once I end the live stream, I'll see if I can somehow record just this one bit for the printer drivers and send it over to you. I mean, cut it out somehow from the live stream so I can send it over to you so you have it. You can watch it I mean, a couple more times if you need to. But okay, if you have to leave, you have to leave. Not gonna hold you here. So, Angela, good time for you to learn something new. So, Celia wants us to pause the food truck at 2 p.m. Please ensure that all online ordering stops at that time. So, this is something you're going to ask me about it when stuff like this comes in, because for some merchants it's going to be as easy as pausing their online ordering in back office or on the front of house. But I mean, we're going to set it up in back office because they are open right now. But for most of them, they also have the third-party platforms like Uber Eats and DoorDash. So we need to make sure that everything is paused, and so that includes pausing in a couple different places. So the first thing you're gonna do is come into back office, and I'm gonna pull up Orale Taco Express. So MLK, this is the brick and mortar location. This is the restaurant, but the express one is their food truck. So I'm gonna select it and go underneath locations here. Once it decides to load up, of course. So locations, and then I'm gonna select the location, and I'm going to scroll down till about the middle of the screen. I'll go slow for you guys. So, okay, we have this thing that says Dine Loyal Spot On Order. This and this Spot On Order is pretty much Spot On's online ordering. And this is where you can control some settings as such as the schedule and the prep time and stuff like that. So I'm just going to go into the schedule here. So you can see they have pickup, they don't have delivery, they have pickup, and it says in parentheses, including third-party delivery, but this is for some integrations, not all of them. And then they also have QR ordering, and so when customers scan the QR code, it takes them to like on the online ordering page. So it's the same thing. So we have to set both of these hours. So for today, as you can see, we have these overrides. The food truck is doesn't operate on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I'm gonna add a new override for today, and I'm gonna say date is the 31st. Okay. So delivery, I'm gonna leave that blank, and then pickup is gonna be from 12:00 p.m. to 2 p.m. And do the same thing here. So 12:00 p.m. to 2 p.m. Okay, and I'm just gonna save this, and that's it. So I picked 12 p.m. because that's their starting time here, and then 2 p.m. That's what she says. She said that they're closing. So now we've taken care of Spot On's online ordering, but we still have, I think they only have DoorDash. So for DoorDash and stuff like that, they use a third-party integration called Chowly. Now, I'm not going to get into detail on Chowly here. I think Roy, I showed you this a couple weeks ago. Not too much to really show you, to be honest with you, but um, what's going to happen here, and one of you will need to do this. You're going to have to come into this Chowly.app website and then find Orale Tacos Express, this one. And then you can right from here, you can pause DoorDash. So you need to do this at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So Roy, I know Angela is going to be out. I mean, her shift ends at 1 Eastern time. So you're going to have to be the one to do this at 2 p.m. I know that you take your break, I think. Or no, you go on break at 2 p.m. your time. So just make a reminder, put a note for yourself to get it done. Because on Chowly, unfortunately, one of the downsides, we cannot set a schedule like we could here to pause it at 2 p.m. So at 2 p.m., you're just gonna come in here and you'll say reopen date is gonna be Tuesday because they're closed on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Tuesday at 12 p.m. is gonna be the reopening date. And just hit confirm, and that's pretty much it. So just put a reminder for yourself to get this done. Okay, I could go into the DoorDash portal as well, but the DoorDash merchant portal, it takes information from Chowly. So whatever is set in Chowly for their business hours, it's going to override any changes that we make in DoorDash. So we have to do it on the integration side and not on DoorDash itself. So again, it's chowly.app. That's the link. And you have the credentials to log in on RoboForm. So I'm just gonna let Celia know that, hi Celia, um, we've set the schedule for all online ordering platforms for the food truck as requested. Kind regards. So I'm gonna send it as open, and Roy, I'll assign this to you. So just so you have it sitting in your front inbox, and then at 2 p.m. once you pause DoorDash on Chowly, you can go ahead and just resolve it. You don't have to reply to her again. Just resolve the ticket, and that's it. And this is going to be a online ordering request tag. All right, there we go. Okay, let's take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, we'll talk about reporting and the different things that we can do with reports and the different types of reports that people most commonly ask for. So 10-minute break, and I'll leave the stream open. I'll type back in Slack when I'm back. Okay, guys, I'm back with you. Type in chat in Slack if you're here. Okay, you're both here. That's good. All right, so let's talk about reports. Um, First off, I'm just gonna start off by showing you, and Roy knows how to do this, and it's pretty simple. Angela, I'm just gonna show you that real quick. When you get a request to add someone new to reports, what's Holly sending? Doo-doo-dum. She wants grilled cheese as an option with the salad. Okay, let me just take care of this stuff for Holly, and then we'll continue. So green side, half and half. Should there be an upcharge? Was it the Caesar? For no protein under salad, protein make a minimum of 1. Okay, we can do that till she responds. So salad, protein adds. Half and half. Salads, soups and greens. Okay. So half and half is half a soup and half a salad that they get. Salad protein adds. Now why isn't this marked as a choice list? And then no protein. So that's what she wants, so let's do it the way she requested. And then or minimum of 1. We'll leave the max out. Okay, while she responds, let's get back to reporting. So Angela, like I said, I'm going to show you how to add a new user to reporting. You may get texts and calls like that. But try to, if someone calls you and tells you they need to add someone else to spot on reports, since you're new here, I would suggest just asking them what that person's role is with the company, because we don't want everyone um, to have access to reports. They cannot do much damage, but not everyone needs to see them. So delete this. So pretty much when you log into the reporting site, it's the same credentials as you use for back office. Um, it's single sign-on, so when you're logged into back office, it automatically logs you into reports as well, and vice versa. So when you come in here in the top right, you have this little avatar. Click on it and then go into accounts. And you can see here, okay, we're getting a call. Good. Roy, can you go ahead and take the call? Juan is calling into the Spanish line, so perfect. Okay, I'm gonna wait for Roy to finish up. Or actually, he knows what to do already. So Angela, just for you, when you're in here, you can see a list of existing accounts, people that can access reporting. So if they tell you that someone's login is not working for some reason, you can search for them by name or by email. And then, let's say, for example, Jim tells me that he cannot log into reporting anymore. I can find Jim. So Jim Burkhardt, so he actually has two different accounts for whatever reason, but this one you can see what hasn't been used since 2024, since last year. So he uses this one, and in case he doesn't know what his password is, if it needs to be reset, you can hit edit over here, and you can send him this password reset request to his email, and then he's going to get instructions to his email on how to reset his password. But in general, when you need to add someone new here, you have the new user button in the top right, and then you just type in their name. So Angela Lira, Angela at giposolutions.com. And let's say you're going to be a manager at Bravo Burger. So just as an example, so we can save it, and you should get an invitation to your email now. Um, so you can even see what the email looks like, just so you have a visual representation of what people get when you send them these invitations. You can even start to set up your account if you want to see what that process looks like as well. But yeah, you can assign multiple locations to people. So, for example, I can put one more for you. Let's say Brunswick WePub. So um, uh, you work with Abigail, the lovely Abigail. Claudio knows what I'm talking about. Um, so yeah, you can save it, and then when you log into the reporting site, if I go out here, you're gonna have those two locations available here to select. Okay. Sorry, my live stream messed up for a bit. Something on the YouTube studio, but it should be good now. Okay. Roy, is he still on call? He is. All right. Let's wait for him to finish, and then I'll start off with going through the different reports and the most commonly used stuff, and in case something is needed. So we need to select the access level for the new users we add. So the access levels by default, what I just did, the invitation that I sent to you, you have access to everything on reporting. But if I don't know if you noticed, we have this thing, this little check mark that says enable permissions. So let's say I'm going to remove you from Brunswick WePub, and I'm going to enable permissions for you. So by default, this is disabled. So uh, pretty much people who have access to reporting are the owners and the general managers. We don't really give it out to staff that um, staff that doesn't need to look at it. So pretty much, what's Holly saying now? Okay, so yeah, we don't need to. We usually don't set up accounts for staff that only can see certain stuff and they cannot see some other stuff. We do have that with, like, again, Hog and Bones, Jerry J's, and Southern Roost. We keep coming back to those guys. We do have something like that set up, and I'm gonna show you now. So I believe you've already logged into the reporting website with this account, from what I can see. Why does it say 5:54 p.m. on 10/28? Interesting. Did you set up the account for yourself and log in? Okay, go ahead and finish the activation, the setup process, and log into the reporting website. Select Bravo Burger and see all the reports that you can see on the left side, just so you can see what by default that you have access to every report here. And then I'm gonna put permissions on you, and you're gonna log out and log back in and see the effect that it has on you, so on your account. In the meantime, I'm just gonna finish up this stuff for Holly. So Holly wants a grilled cheese button here. Um, whatever, grilled cheese. Yeah, you can set any password. It's your own account. I'm gonna delete it afterwards because you don't really need to have it, just for test training purposes, so to say. Go ahead and set it up and log in, and yeah, just look around, see that you confirm that you have access to the entire reporting, to all the reports. Um, okay, so I don't know how Holly on the half and half section with all salads, grilled cheese. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay, I'm gonna set this up like this for her and just tell her, okay, I just added it. Can you try it and let me know if that's what you imagined? That's how you want it. Let me know when you've completed it, Angela, so I can continue. You don't need to do much. Just log in here, check that you can underneath sales, for example, that you can see all these reports, and then payments, labor. Just confirm that you can see all of them. Okay, good. So now I'm gonna set up that so-called permission and restrict you from accessing certain things. So go ahead and log out of reporting up here. Click on it and then log out. And now I'm going to go up here again and we have permissions. So I'm going to set up, the permissions are set up based on the site. They're not set up based on the user, but you set up permissions for a location, for an organization, as it says here. And then whatever user is assigned to that organization, you can put that permission restriction on them. So I'll just show you what I mean. I'm going to create a new permission and say, I'll just name it Angela. And organization is going to be Bravo Burger. Okay. So now select it, and then, and you can see it right here on the right side, users. You should be in here, but it doesn't show your name because I did not enable permissions for you on the accounts page, but I'll do that later on. So let's say for now, you can look at the dashboard and the daily sales recap and nothing else. So I'm gonna set it up, scroll down and save it. I will need to come back to this. So again, I'm gonna go under accounts and find you in here. So Angela, and I'm gonna edit and I'm gonna enable permissions for you and save. And then I'm gonna go back into the permissions, and this is the permission that I created for you. And now users, your name shows up. So I'm gonna check your name. So that means that this permission, where only these two reports can be seen, it's assigned to you. So the dashboard is, I'm gonna just save this. Just so you know, when you log in, the dashboard is this sales snapshot thing. So when you log in, this is going to be the report you're going to see. It's the default report for whoever logs in. And then the only other report that you'll be able to see is going to be this one, the daily sales recap. So go ahead and log back in and let me know if it's set up that way. Ashley Moore. Okay, so that's how you can set up permissions for people, for users. If something needs to be restricted, you need to set up that permission and then enable permissions for that user. And then again, inside the permission, you need to check that user, make sure their name is selected and save it. And that way you can restrict them access. Now, is Roy still on the phone? Roy, what's going on? Okay, he just ended. All right, that's good. Um, so Ashley is going to be using the handheld, but the handheld is offline. Uh, let me just see this. Okay. Okay. Um, so Holly is not replying. I'm guessing that She's happy with what she sees, so I'm going to resolve that. And Ashley, I'm just going to put the other tag on this one. And we got an email from Mary. Roy, are you watching the live stream again? Serenity South Spa. Okay, Serenity. We don't have Serenity on reporting. Uh, 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 um, Serenity is just a processing account, I think. Let me confirm with Claudio. All right. So, Roy, are you back with us in the live stream? If you can write in chat. I mean, it doesn't really matter. The stuff that I'm about to show, you probably already know for yourself. So, Angela, I'm gonna continue with you. So, like I said, when people first log into to the reporting website, um, first off, you always need to make sure that they're looking at the right location. Most of these people only have access to a single location, but when a user account is first set up, when they log into the reporting website, most of the times there is no location selected. So that's the first thing they need to do is just select the location, whichever one they're looking at. So just to show you everything, I'm going to take one of the Hog and Bones locations, for example, and let's do Waycross. Because you're probably going to get a lot of calls from these guys. I mean, not a lot, but more often than the other restaurants, these guys are going to call Hog and Bones, Jerry J's, and Southern Roost about something regarding reports. So let's start off with the basics. So sales snapshot, they utilize this to track their like labor percentage. So as you can see here, their labor percentage is 20%. So we've talked about the labor percentage a few days ago, I believe. I was working with, was it John from Full Bellies, where we were calculating or finding what his labor percentage is for the last couple months. And it was what 60, 70%, which was way, way, way too high. And he's definitely not doing good. But these guys, 20% labor percentage, it's around the number that they're looking for. All of them want to be at around 20%, so this is good. But besides that, huh, they can see their labor cost for the day, their current sales and stuff like that. But besides the labor percentage, they don't really look at this report. But let's move on to some other stuff. So underneath sales snapshot, you have closing. So I think we used this yesterday or 2 days ago when we talked about closeouts. You can also view people's closeouts through the reporting website. So if I select right now, we don't have any closeouts because it's the present day and nobody has clocked out and closed out yet, so there's no data available. But if I select yesterday, it takes a moment to load. There we go. These are all the different closeouts for the different employees from yesterday, and you can see all the numbers. So Jays Marie, is that how you pronounce this? I know the last name is Delgado, but uh, Jays Marie had almost $50 short yesterday, so not a good day for her. Um, so you can from here you can do the same thing that you can do on the POS when looking at the closeouts through end day history. So you can click on an employee here. You can see what their closeout looks like. You can print it even if needed, but you're not going to be printing closeout reports for yourself for sure. Um, their cash stuff and payments, but the the close report summaries we mostly use for this. But I would recommend if you do have to look at closeouts to go to the POS and look at them because you'll be able to see more detail. If they had multiple closeouts, you would be able to see them in here in reporting. You can only see the total closeout for the entire day. So if an employee had multiple shifts worked here, you would just see the whole closeout for the entire day. So it's always better to do it on the POS. Besides that, the only other thing you maybe will look at sometimes is the multi-cash deposits. Again, this is specific only to Hog and Bones and Jerry J's and Southern Roost. They enter these cash deposits on the POS. I can actually show you that as well. Waycross, well, hopefully they're not too busy at the moment. It is lunchtime now. I don't know if we'll be able to use this, but let's see. Okay, good. So if I clock in and then show commands and we have cash deposits, so we can go back to yesterday and you can see they had two different cash deposits that they put into the system. Now, what these cash deposits are, um, that's pretty much the cash flow from yesterday. They everything that's left over, they keep $150 for each drawer, and then whatever is left for each cash drawer, that means they have like three or four cash drawers, so that adds up to $600. They leave that at the restaurant, and then everything else, they take this to the bank and deposit this money to the bank account. And you can see even when it's done. So this one, 2,687, done at 1:27 p.m. So this is when the morning shift was ending, when all the drawers were counted and all that stuff. They took this money and they put the deposit in on the POS here. So when they're doing it, they come in here to the same screen. So again, show commands, cash deposits, and they hit new cash deposits for today, and they can select the time. It's going to automatically switch over to whatever time it is right now, and the date, and then accept, and then they no thanks, and they enter the deposit amount here and accept, and it adds it up into the system. So this thing that just popped up on the screen here, that's actually a setting that we need to disable. So while I'm on the station here, might as well do that. Again, I showed you this yesterday. These are Google Chrome settings. You saw the little pop-up to save the thing as a password or whatever. So passwords and autofill. So Google Password Manager settings, and do not offer me to save it. Save anything, and then payment methods as well. We don't want that. And addresses, we don't want that. And down here, this is disabled. That's good. Okay. So I'm gonna get out of the station. So sometimes they might call you and tell you, "Hey, my deposits or something about deposits, it's not matching up," and stuff like that. But you wouldn't be looking here. That information is also available on the daily sales recap. And let me show you where it is. So you have your net sales and stuff at the top. And now within the net cash field, you can see two cash deposits for whatever amount it was. So they were short $113 yesterday, which is Uh, Not a small amount. They're one of the higher amounts that I've seen. So somebody messed up yesterday, at least for those $50, and then someone else also messed up. So they ended up short for the day, and they might actually even we might even get an email about this next week probably from their accounting team, from the corporate accounting team, asking us to look into this to see why they were short for this amount. But when it comes to cash, there's only so much that we can do and track. We can look for bugs that occurred with the system. And if we do get an email, I'll show you guys what I mean by that. But not going to go into it right now so I don't overcomplicate stuff. But okay, we got to the daily sales recap, which is pretty much the one and only report for Spot On. It's the report that it shows everything. So it's the main report, the main one people use. And like I said, I think again a few days ago, you're gonna be getting calls next week um, uh, from like El Real, from Los Bravos, from Roxy's restaurant. They're gonna be asking you to send them last month's sales, meaning they need the report for last month. So you're gonna come in here and you're gonna in the date here, you're gonna select last month. Now, because we're still in October, it goes over to September. But if I say this month, I can see the full report for the entire month. And I'll show you what that looks like as well. So Hog and Bones Waycross is a heavy hitter. Oh my God, these are good sales. Um, October was good for them. Usually they're around 320,000, something like that. But if I check last month, I think it was way less than this. Yeah, 320,000. So October was good to these guys. Um, so yeah, you can see your net sales, sales by different parts of the day. So how much they sell during breakfast. Breakfast is their busiest part of the day. Lunch is like a 2 hour period where they are when they are slammed and then nothing happens. But it's a short part of the day from 10:45, 10:30 to like 2 p.m. and then everything after 2:30 p.m. is goes into dinner, and you can see dinner is uh, slower than breakfast. And then sales by order type, none of this stuff is really is relevant. I don't know, in my 5 years working with Spot On, I don't think I've ever used sales by order type. So the cash stuff, again, that is, and you can see they're down almost $4,000 in cash because of cash mismanagement and mishandling. Uh, they're down that amount according to the reports. But it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. Then we have this payments header, and you'll notice that payments is higher than net sales. That's because taxes are not deducted from this number. So this before we used to consider this number as like the gross sales of the restaurant, but it's actually not. Gross sales can be seen on this report, but you have to change settings. I don't even remember where it is. Uh, uh, um, Let me see. Let me see. No, it's under organizations, I think. Hog and Bones. Okay, and then report configurations, daily sales recap. So we can change the setting here to show gross sales, but we don't need those most of the time, so we leave it at just net sales and that. So let me get back to the report. I went a little bit off topic. Okay, so you can see their card payments, then we can see their cash payments. These butt tickets, this is like some fundraiser stuff that they do. Um, this is a payment method that we just set up for them so they can record and see how many of these fundraiser tickets they sell or how many are redeemed actually. So I don't want to get into that. It's not relevant. And then we have gift card payments, house accounts. So house accounts are a whole different topic that I think we actually spoke about it last week with Boomies. So I'm not going to go into it right now. So handheld CC, these are credit card payments taken on handhelds. So these and these up top, they are different. These are from their POS stations, from their Spot on Virtual is from the online ordering. So all these are different, and then they are all added up here in total credit cards. That's the amount of credit cards that they had, and you can also see credit card refunds down here. And let's see what Holly needs. Please add in a second pretzel, same price and location. Just name it the Boo Boo Pretzel. What? They send these texts like they're the only merchant that we support and that we work with. So I'm gonna have to decipher now what she wants and what she needs. So let's just see. All right, so please add in a second pretzel. So they probably have a pretzel in the system somewhere. So let's look for pretzel. Ah, okay, pretzel with beer cheese. So we need to add a second one, same price and location, meaning same menu group. We're deciphering a little bit. Just name it the Boo Boo Pretzel. Okay, so should be pretty simple. Duplicate Boo Boo Pretzel. Let's make the name nice. Same price, same place, same everything. So that's pretty much done. Uh, sure thing. It has been added. So the email here is, I'll assign this to Claudia. And okay, resolve Holly. And I'm gonna resolve Ashley here just because the next text that she sends, I don't want it to be assigned to me because I'll be out of the office by then. So I could have just unresolved it, but I'll or unassigned it, but I'll make it resolved. Okay, so let's get back to the report. The daily sales recap. You can see the taxes in here, but you also have a separate header down here, which also shows you refunded taxes as well. Um, so the amount of taxes that the site needs to pay for this month, and refund details as well, and if they had any fees, surcharges. And the labor stuff is irrelevant. We've never used that before. So yeah, that's the daily sales recap. Again, it's the main report for sales related stuff, and that's the thing you're gonna be sending to people when they call in and they tell you, "Hey, I need my sales," or "I need my taxes for last month." You can, if they request taxes specifically, uh, that's a rare case. They also want to see their sales as well, so you're gonna be sending this. But if they just want taxes, you have a report down here called the taxes summary, and you can pull this up and email it to them. It's a pretty simple report. It lists taxes, I think day by day, and then the totals as well. Yeah, so day by day, the tax amounts, and then the totals down here, grand total This is the amount. Um, okay, so one other report that you're going to be utilizing sometimes, but this is going to be in the future for you, Angela, not yet, because you're still new to this. But I'm going to show it anyways. Is the cash discounting report? This is going to be you can use this for merchants who are on cash discount when they have those two prices, the cash price and credit card price. What the cash discounting report does, it takes their credit cards for the day, and let me just select. Actually, let's find a better location. Someone who's on cash discount is going to be um, Full Bellies. I think they're on cash discount. Yeah, okay. So let's select just the last 4 days. So the cash discounted report, it shows their credit card sales, credit card payments, so to say, and then it shows the estimated deposit that they should receive to their bank account. So this amount should be correct within 2 or 3 pennies to the amount that they actually receive on their bank account. And again, you're only going to be using this report for people that are on cash discounting. Um, you're going to be, sometimes you may need to log into the dashboard and look at the settlements that I showed. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? And you can see those amounts on the settlements, and you can compare them with what this report says, just to confirm that they are getting the amounts that they should be getting. In case the difference is bigger than a few pennies, a few cents, that means that they are probably being charged some additional software fees or something like that. You need to report that to me and to Claudio immediately in case that happens, because these tech companies, they like to throw on fees to people without notifying anyone. So um, that's one use case for this report. Discount detail and discount summary. This report shows when people are using discounts, who is authorizing the discounts and stuff like that. So um, I haven't really used it much, to be honest with you, but I can show you what it looks like. You have these charts up here. You can disable them by doing this. So but I don't know if you're a chart person, you can look at this. But it's, for me, it's really just taking up space. Maybe except this and this. But in any case, you can see when and who is doing what. You can edit the columns as well, so it shows day part or whatever. But it shows the most important thing, which is who was the employee and who approved it. So the approver is very important, and you can see what type of discount they applied. Did they apply it to an item, or did they apply it to the entire check, to the entire order, what the discount amount was, and all that stuff. And the discount summary is just a summary of all the discounts done during the selected period. Really nothing exciting going on here. I don't know. They use this. They look at this stuff. The corporate guys from Hog and Bones and maybe the general manager, to see who discounted what and when. But for us, it's not really important. Now, employee sales, hourly sales, modifiers reports. These three, I don't think I've ever used, honestly. Um, you you can look at them on your own time, but really, I don't know what the use case is for them. For our merchants, at least, we don't need to use these. And then the order list report is like the second most used report for me on reporting, simply because we get a lot of those tip adjustment requests, tip rekeys and stuff like that. So for any tip rekey that comes in, you do need to use this report or one of the other reports as well, to just look at the order number that they send. So they're going to send you a picture of a receipt that contains an order number, the card number, and stuff like that. You're going to look up that order number in here, Just make sure you have your date selected and look up the order number and just confirm that that order doesn't have any tips on it. Just because sometimes it happens that they send us receipts that they want to get the tip put in for, but it already has a tip on it. So you end up double charging the tip to the customer, and then they might start a chargeback dispute, which costs the restaurant money and stuff like that. So we always want to check those before sending them into dealer support. And also, there are some other things that you can check on this report, but that's like the main use case. I think I've shown you already. You can pull up the orders by clicking on the order number, and then you can also pull up the receipt if you need to. This is what they saw on the receipt that printed from the POS. You can email the receipt. You're gonna get those requests as well. To email to send the request is gonna say, please send me an itemized receipt. So this is that itemized receipt. Most common people who send this are the ladies from Los Bravos. They send you the last four of the card, and they tell you what the date was maybe, and you have to look up the transaction using the credit card transactions report and pull up that order number and then pull up the receipt like I just did, and now it's not loading. I have to refresh. God bless the reporting site. um, so you pull up the receipt, and again, like this, and then you can just email it to whatever email address they want it. Okay, so moving on from the order list report, here under the sales tree, what else do we have? So the product mix report is one that gets overlooked a lot. Most merchants do not know that this one exists, and they're going to ask about it at a certain point when they're making menu changes, or they want to see which items sell and which do not sell, and that's where the product mix report comes in. It pretty much, let's say it's an item sales report. It shows you how much of what have you sold during that selected period. So let's say for the month of October, Hog and Bones Waycross wants to track down how many breakfast biscuits they sold. So breakfast biscuits, I think, are their top seller. So we can use the search box here. You can also expand these categories. Now, this is going to bug for a moment, but they are divided by menu group. So breakfast biscuits, here we go. This is the combo version. The combos come with a choice of a side and a drink, while we also have just the biscuit on its own, and it costs like $4, which is very cheap. So they want to see how many they've sold during this period. So I think it's easier to just type in breakfast biscuit, okay, like this, just so we can get rid of the other items that were surrounding it. So quantity sold, close to 4,000, okay. Net sales from those from that number that they sold, close to 12,000. So they sell a lot of them. And it's useful in the way that people are going to come in, they're going to look at this report, and they're going to notice that there are items that they haven't sold for an entire month. So what do they do with that? They can get rid of it. They don't need that on the menu. So it's a pretty powerful report, and most restaurants do not know that it exists. And I think if they, at least in my opinion, if they started utilizing this, they would clear up their menus so much, um, remove so many items. But it is what it is. Just so you know, in case someone asks you, where can I track down my item sales and stuff like that, the product mix report is going to be what they're looking for. Now, there's also three more versions: product mix by employee, with modifiers, with subtotals. Um, this one and this one are the ones that you're most likely going to use. This one shows modifiers as well. So that's the only difference between the two. But yeah, just so you know that it's here, and like I said, it's a very powerful report that gets overlooked a lot. Sales by order type, I don't know. It it's a simple report. Sales by order type. It is what it tells you that it is. Not much. We don't really utilize it a lot. Sales comparison. You can compare sales from a certain period to a certain period from before, from the last week. I don't know. I honestly I don't know if I ever use this report, so you're not going to need it. Scheduled orders. Again, we don't really use this much. What's going on with reports? Oh my God. Okay. So scheduled orders, any online order that comes in is considered a scheduled order because it comes in and it it's for a time ahead. So it comes in as a scheduled order, but they can also schedule orders on the POS itself. So for example, I have a customer today who's coming in to place a catering order for Monday morning. So what I can do is on the POS, I'm not going to show you right now. We only have like 10 minutes because I have to leave early. But on the POS, when I ring up the items and I can also take the payment or take a deposit for that catering order, and then I can schedule it so it stays open in the system until Monday morning, and I can set a time a timer when it's going to release that order into the kitchen for the kitchen staff to prep it. So it's also when you do that, it's also going to show up here. So um, we don't really use this scheduled orders report a lot. It is very rarely needed for anything, but just so you know what it's for. And next one, station sales. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can see sales by station, so how much they sold on which station. Again, some people use it, most people do not. Surcharge report, we don't need that. Surcharges are something that we don't really utilize a lot. There's no need for them, so tax exempt orders. So this one may be useful sometimes. If let's select the whole month. So these are all orders that were made tax exempt on the POS. So you can actually see quite a bit of a 5,387 that that's the amount, and they didn't charge taxes for all of these. So uh, tax exempt orders come in the form of like companies, government agencies, and stuff like that. They can come in and they can say, "Hey, I need this, this, and this," but we're a government, whatever, and we don't pay taxes. So the guys make it tax exempt on the POS. Um, taxes summary, I've shown you that already. Unsold items, I don't know what this report does. I've never even looked at it. That's how much we use it. Void report can sometimes be useful, so you can see voids. Let's just select maybe a single day. So they are sorted by the reason for the void, and you can see POS test. This was probably okay. So they're using the POS test reason, but yeah, you can pretty much see who voided something, what it was, who it was approved by. Same like you had with the discounts, you have the void report. Pretty simple. And then the weekly dashboard is a report that shows sales for the entire week. I think the guys from their corporate office, the ladies, they use this report. I don't know why, but they have some use case for it, and I don't know. In general, we don't really utilize this report. Okay, so I'm gonna end it here. Like I said, we only have a few more minutes left, and I'm gonna be stepping out at 12:30, which is in 7 minutes. I have to leave early, so yeah, that'd be all for today, guys. I'm not gonna uh, hold you any longer. You can get back to doing the support stuff. So, Roy, you got the calls, and Angela is here for the next 30 minutes as well. She can pick up some text if needed.